You're watching Building Real Estate Wealth Through Probate with Nate Arnold, that probate guy, helping you build generational wealth.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Probate Investing Show. I'm Robin Levin, your host, here with that probate guy, Nate Arnold. Welcome back. Hey, Nate.
Thank you, Robin. I'm glad to be back.
Yes. So listen to this. I understand that you said you closed a recent probate deal in less than 15 days, where the average real estate property seems to sell for at least 45 days in any market. Is that right?
Oh, yes. In fact, it's not unusual for a probate property to sell rather quickly like that. Once the personal representative has what's called the letter of administration, they can put the property on the market and sell it immediately. In this last case that we're talking about, the personal representative was out of area, lived in California, and because of the family issues that were going on, they had to sell it very quickly. So we were able to bring a cash investor, and the cash investor paid cash and closed the property in about 2 weeks' time. So yes, it's very possible.
Wow. So basically, you're avoiding staging a property. There's no financing necessarily involved. Take us through that process. And also, for those new that are watching, what do you mean when you say personal representative?
Well, a personal representative is the person charged with selling the estate, with selling the issues in the estate. And that could be selling a real property and other issues involved. So they are the one person you go to necessarily go into contract. And so in this particular case, again, when you're dealing with a personal representative, they not only can sell the property very quickly, but that's who you want to talk to. And so in this case, we were able to get them a cash buyer. They did not have to put the property on the market, and therefore they did not have agent fees. It was sold directly to an investor. We got our funds from the investor, and everyone was happy. It was a win-win-win situation for everyone.
Wow. All right. So this sounds pretty amazing. Now, I'm sure there's quite the process that you have to take certain steps before you get to the end result. Can you walk us through a little bit of that process? How does it even start?
Well, we use what we call the 4 R's. Once you do your research and find out what properties are in probate in your area, then you can reach out to the personal representative or the attorney. You can then explain to them what you do and how you do it and how you can help them resolve their situation. So you've got the first R, which is research. Then you reach out to the person. Then you help them resolve their issues, and then you help them sell the property. And that's the 4th R, which is reward. So everyone is pleased in this process, but it is a process, and you have to know what you're doing and what's necessary to conclude the process successfully.
And you've put together this fabulous free ebook guide that really walks someone through this process that you just described. Yeah?
Yes. We wanted to simplify the process, Robin, because a lot of people think that probate is a mysterious process. It's not. It's not complicated at all. It's an administrative process controlled by the jurisdiction in which a person lives. And subsequently, they have a pattern which, once you know it, you can do probate over and over and over again. You're just repeating the process. And so it's very simple, but people have to get over the fear, and that's what our 4 R's does. It breaks it down into a simple, straightforward process. It demystifies the process so people understand how simple and easy it is. Now, they will also need people like myself to guide them through that process. But once they learn it, they're off to the races.
And so for those, whether they're a new investor or a seasoned investor who might think this is overly complicated, this would be a good way for them to scan the code and get the ebook to check it out. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And the ebook is a short ebook, but it's packed with good, actionable information.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'd like to know, I'm curious, how did you get started with your very first probate deal?
Oh, well, that goes quite a ways. My grandmother, I think I mentioned this before, owned a lot of property. And when she passed, my dad, who was the last surviving sibling, got the property. And when he passed, I had to go through the probate process. And there were about, I think there were quite a few properties in that estate. I think a total of maybe 13 at one point. And so that was my first introduction into probate. And then later in 2008, when we were in the Great Recession, a friend and I came together and started researching probate properties. And I started doing the calling and the contacting. He was doing the research. And lo and behold, that very first full year, I closed 13 properties in the very first year that I was doing this full time.
Wow.
And that was during the Great Recession, when other agents were leaving the business and investors were getting out of the business. I found this niche, and it has been very profitable for me.
And now you're teaching this to others so they can understand not only the process, but the opportunities and profit from your knowledge.
Exactly. This is a legacy I want to leave. I want to demystify the process so that other people can learn it and do the same thing that I've done. It is a great opportunity to grow generational wealth. I've seen it in my family, in my life, and I want to pass those skills on to other people. And this is the way I do it.
I love that. And I know that you've also put together a relatively new academy, the Probate Prosperity Academy. Maybe touch on that for those that want to get more involved with you and work directly with you.
Yes, the concept behind this is to be able to train people in the real world on how to do these transactions. Because sometimes people can, again, feel daunted by the prospect of contacting people, but we walk them through each phase of the process, Robin. We walk them through the research phase because people don't know necessarily how to maneuver over the internet and how to get the information. And then we teach them how to contact individuals, how to show them that they can trust you and that you know what you're doing. That's the reach out phase. And then in the resolution phase, we're right there to answer their questions, to help them get to the solution that they need to, and finally to close the deal so everybody reaps the rewards.
And I'm sure every deal must be a different, unique situation where your creative deal making also will come into play for them.
That's exactly right. Because personal representatives or executives often don't know what it is. They know what they want to do, but they don't know how to reach the goal. So we come in and help them establish the steps that they need to do to reach the goal. Because a lot of cases, they don't know what to ask or who to ask. And so, because remember, most PRs are only a personal representative or an executive once in their lifetime. So they can be intimidated by the whole process.
Wow. Okay. Well, we also have some really great questions that people have emailed in advance of the show. So I wanted to go over some of those with you. And for those watching, you might want to take some notes and definitely download the book because, again, it's a free ebook where Nate breaks down his 4-step process that has been successful at his career for nearly 40 years. So you'll expedite your learning curve.
Right.
So the first question is, what percentage of probate cases actually sell off market? That is, without a real estate agent.
That is a great question, Robin. Great question. And since I've been in the business I've been in real estate for 38 years, but probate for basically 19, specifically of those years, we've been able to track that. And approximately about 50%, I would say, of cases, maybe a little less, actually sell off market. And the reason is PRs may want to sell quickly. A lot of times they do not want to have an agent involved. And even though I think agents can be a help, they don't want to go through that process. And I think they're intimidated by the process. And so they tend to sell about approximately 50% of the time. I also have found out that in approximately 23% of those cases, they will sell it to the investor themselves. I've purchased quite a number of properties myself directly from personal representatives.
Okay, good to know. And also, you don't have to be licensed to be doing these probate real estate investing deals, right?
Not at all. And I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people think you have to have a real estate license to invest in real estate. You do not. Our training shows you what you need to do, how you need to do it, and you do not need a license. That's the great thing about probate investing. Avenues, the hurdles to get you to your goals are very, very limited. So you don't have a lot of hurdles in this business. And so you have direct access to the properties and to the personal representatives through our training.
And you know firsthand because you've been a licensed real estate broker for many years. You've been an appraiser. You pretty much know every aspect of the entire business.
Yes, I've owned I've been a partner in a title company as well, owned a mortgage company. So yes, quite a bit of experience. And now those do require licenses. However, in this aspect of real estate investing, you do not need a license. But my experience really is helpful to the people that I'm training,
Right.
because they get they get to see all of these things come together under one umbrella.
Exactly. And you know how to pave the path for them to learn it at a quicker pace under your guidance. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where our creativity comes in as well. Because we have seen so many cases over the years, Robin, I don't even know how many. And we've been able to address the needs of the personal representatives and the attorneys. And so that's why they actually love us. And if you go to our site, you can see our testimonials. We are not talking pie in the sky. We have helped people through this process time and time again. And we will train our students on how to do that also.
And we will have the website link in the description, as well as the link to some of your other goodies. All righty.
Great.
Well, you are definitely the expert here. So moving on to question number 2. When can a personal representative or executor actually sell and close on a house in the estate?
That's a great question again, Robin. When a person dies and their estate is being administered, you have to apply to be what's called the personal representative or the executor. So a petition for probate has to be completed. Normally that process takes about 45 days. All right. Once they have been appointed, they will receive what's called letters of administration. Once they have those letters, which sometimes can come in 30 days or less, it doesn't always have to be 45 days, they can then sell the property. They can sell the property at that time. They can legally sell the property. Now, and in many cases, the personal representative does sell the property. So you as an investor or an agent want to be right there when the person is ready to do that.
Can you walk us? Yeah. Can you walk us through your personal situation, your very first family estate that you had to deal with? How does that process look for you back then in answer to this question?
Well, that's a good question. I was living here in the metropolitan DC area. My father was living in Alabama, and that's where those properties were located. So we had to, in that case, hire an attorney to assist us with the process. And so I went through the formal process of acquiring, becoming the personal representative in Alabama, and my attorney did a lot of the legwork for me. We also, at that point, just sold the properties off market. I don't think I had an agent at the time. I think I actually was an agent at that time. So I knew what I needed to do. And so the same applies now, though. Whatever area you're in, if you're in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area, the process is very similar. And so you would have to go through the personal representative in our area, and then they would be able to work with you to get the properties, the estate settled.
Okay, good. All right, another question we have is, what happens when multiple personal representatives are administering the estate?
That's a great question. When you have multiple PRs, that typically means that there is some discord in the family, and that the one sibling may not trust the other sibling. And in cases like that, you can be very confident that the estate is going to be sold. They want to sell the property, and in many cases, they just want to get rid of it quickly. Now, they're not going to give it away to you, but when you have multiple PRs, you know that the property is going to be sold on the open market or off market rather quickly. So you can contact them both, either or, and confirm that, and in some cases make an offer, present your offer right then. And we also in our training provide contracts that our students can use. So it's a very good feature to have when you begin to meet with the personal representatives.
And this is such an emotional time for those parties involved, and I'm sure they're dealing with lots of different people and problems, and you have to know how to navigate all of that, and each one is no doubt different.
That is so true, Robin. It's an emotional time. Many people are still grieving. I've had situations where the personal representative, in one case, a son, was not able to go to the property a full year because his mother had died there. And so you get a lot of that. Then you get other people in the family who may be heirs who just want the property sold. They have no attachment to the property. They just want their money. And you get a lot of those. So it's going to be a case-by-case situation. And part of our training is to help you listen what their needs are, and then to be able to engage them around their needs. Because it's not about you. It's about what they need and how you can help them reach their goals. That's what probate really is, helping people resolve their issues around the estate.
Right. Wow. It's so great that you are breaking this down, because I think probate, as you said, is so often misunderstood in so many ways.
Right. Very true. Very true. Very true.
And last question for this particular session. And again, you can always reach out to Nate. The contact information that will be in the description below. So what roles do attorneys play if a personal rep is involved also?
Again, that's a good question. And it's situation specific. If the PR is out of state, they may need the attorney to be their go-to person in the area. But what people don't realize is that attorneys are not all the same either. Attorneys can utilize investors or agents to help them resolve cases. And if you contact an attorney in a lot of cases, that attorney may then engage you to help them sell the property or even sell the property to you. So attorneys can be very beneficial in your process, in your system of contacting PRs. Also, attorneys do have specialties, and some of them specialize in probate cases. I had this one attorney in D.C., and in 1 year, Robin, he gave me about 10 probate cases. Now, they weren't all easy, but when we were able to get the first one done, he saw that I knew what I was doing and just gave me cases repeatedly. So, and some of these would end up being sold off market. So it's really one size does not fit all in this business. But the great thing is it's situational, and you can make a lot of impact depending on the case.
And so, I mean, what I'm hearing too are relationships are so critical to this entire process. Like you just said about the attorney relationship that you have.
Right, right.
All right. Well, we are. This has been very eye-opening for not only myself, but I'm sure a lot of those that are watching. And also, don't forget to like and comment on the videos. Yes. And just here's take a peek at some of the upcoming shows that we're having. So if you haven't yet subscribed, definitely now would be a good time to hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you get notified of the next episodes coming up. And as you can see, Nate is very generous with his knowledge and guidance. And so there's a lot of interesting areas to pursue, especially the one with probate and your IRA. That will be a fun one to take a look at.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
All righty. And there is the how to download your free ebook and learn the 4 R's and get to know Nate a little bit more. And to check out his academy too, because as you can see, he is he is that probate guy. That probate guy. And now you know why. Okay, Nate. Well, it's great to have you on. And thank you all for watching. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
I had a great time, Robin. Thank you so much. I hope everyone's benefited from this podcast.
Absolutely. All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Subscribe and hit the bell for every episode. Then grab your free probate real estate investing ebook and join the Probate Prosperity Academy, where smart investors learn to create generational wealth through probate real estate. Thank you for watching. See you in our next episode.